Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. And here we are, it's Wednesday. We are going to do a show. It's Wise Women's Wednesday. And look at how many wise women are already here. Hello to Helen. Hello to Catherine. Hello to Alice. And to Nancy. Cheers, Mother Hen. Hello, Patsy. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Isn't it fun to be here? I think it is. I think it's fun to be together and to be talking about the things that wise women do. This week, we have been all about talking about change because change is inevitable. If you're going to go pro, you're going to have to change some things up because amateurs allow life to happen to them and pros are proactive. Are they not? We've noticed that a lot. I certainly have anyway. So today we're going to get really fun with the transformational truth about creating change. Because there is a truth to this whole idea of creativity. And I've talked to you a lot about that before. And I really believe it's time to revisit this idea of creativity because this is the spark. This is the little thing. This is the match that lights that fire all up. And boy, oh boy, am I excited about all of that. I agree with you. Patsy says going pro is the only way to go. It's absolutely the truth. That's when you feel really good about yourself, isn't it? That's when you start saying, hey, you know what? You know what? This is great. You know what? This feels good. You know what? I'm stronger than I think. Am I right? Jackie knows, Sandy knows, and we're all here doing the work. That's the only way to do it, y'all. That is the only way to do it. A lot of you, I've seen a lot of you anyway, have gone and taken full advantage of our incredible sale. Our sale is going on right now. Take advantage. There will be no rain checks. No rain checks. Supplies are going fast. I'm shocked at how fast they're going. I'm shocked. So don't dilly-dally. Be pro about this. You know what you want? Go. Get it. That's it. It's at savingdinner.com/sale or spring. I'm sorry. savingdinner.com/spring. Take advantage of the sale. The end. That's all I have to say. We don't do them often, as you well know. And when we do them, we treat our people right, But when supplies go, they go, and that's it. So just saying, be wise. We have such a good quote of the week. Susan's in the house? Yes, she is. Hello, Sue. How are you? It's good to have you here. Our quote of the week is, I want to see if you can fill in the blank here. Indecision is the decision to, tell me what it is in the comments. Don't look at that. Don't look at what Jenny just posted. Tell me what it is. What is indecision? In real terms, what is it? You don't get a free pass when you're indecisive. You don't. You made a decision. Yes. And it's a decision to anyone? Bueller? My goodness. This is either slow or I am. I don't know. But it's a decision to fail is what it is. We don't look at it that way though, do we? We don't. You know what we look at? We look at it as, well, I didn't have anything to do with it. It just did nothing. Blah, 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 blah. Well, it's not true. That is kind of the, I don't know, is the painted picture, isn't it, of what happens when you think you can wiggle out of something. You cannot get out of it. You cannot. This is what happens. Yes. Wow. Nancy is right. Hi, Alice. And there's Andrea. Nice to have you here. And Debbie. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. She's vacuuming her stairway, everybody, if you need to know. Debbie is vacuuming her stairway. All right. So today we're going to get into the weeds a little bit about creativity, because this is the stuff that digs you out of the amateur garbage that we all hate, right? Don't we all hate amateur stuff? Of course you do. Do you want to be, let me just ask you a question. When you go to a restaurant, do you want to be waited on an amateur or a professional? When you are at a restaurant, do you want to know that the person in the kitchen is an amateur or a professional? What is your preference? When you go to watch sports on TVs, amateur or professional, we all want to watch the pros. We all want to be served by the pros. We want pros in our lives because we want it done right and done well. That's the whole deal. That is the whole deal. That's why we want to go pro. When we show up and step up in our lives, things change in a big, big way. Hi, Lynn. I'm glad you're here. So we need to look at what change is. There is a transformational truth. And that transformational truth, believe it or not, is something that's fun, and it's creativity. And we're really, really going to get into the weeds on this because this is so important. And we think about creativity as somebody who cross stitches. We've got a bunch of cross stitchers here. Hey there, Margot. I'm so glad you're here. We got a lot of cross stitchers. We got a lot of needle pointers and knitters and crocheters and painters and creative folks, creative in the arts and crafts of doing neat things. They do neat things. But creativity shows up, just like intelligence, in more than one way. Creativity, having the ability to be creative, is part of your noticing and your curiosity. When you notice things and you're curious about things, you start to see things in a completely different light, because you are no longer saying, oh, I don't know, there's nothing I can do about it. I guess I'll just not make a decision about it, right? Right? Or are you in the position where you're saying, wait, let me think about this for a minute. What could I do that will change the outcome of what I'm trying to accomplish? What's standing in my way? That's where the creative juices come from. And that's where creativity really meets the road. It does. It's tires meeting the road. It is making things happen. And when we do that, everything starts to shift. Every perspective starts to shift, and the ideas flow. Don't believe me? Try me out on this. I promise you, it's unbelievable how this works. So why you're going to hear me Diana Nyad myself to death here, because, I love Diana Nyad. Diana Nyad is always going to be saying, find a way. Yes, she says find a way, but I also will remind you that you have to create a way yourself. And for each one of us, the creativity part is so fantastical. And you know why? Because it's custom fit for you and how you roll. It's custom fit for you and what makes you feel good and what makes you kick that ball down the field. Isn't that fabulous? I can't think of anything better than that. It is not one size fits all. It's you get a creativity shot. You do, and you do, and you do. It's like Oprah. She's just dealing them out, giving them all to everyone. Everybody gets to be creative on your own terms too. That's the fun part. That is the fun part. So remember, creativity isn't just artistic expression in some way, shape, or form. It's your brain's way of making solutions happen. And we all have that ability to do it. So when people say to me, this makes my skin crawl, by the way, don't you ever say this to me, or I will grab you by the ponytail if you have one and say that again. Even if you don't have a ponytail, grab you by something. I'll grab you. Don't ever say to me, I'm not creative, because that's patently not true. Yes, you are. It's in your DNA. It's part of the way that your brain functions. And yes, you're creative. Yes, you're amazing. Yes, you are fantastic and fabulous. That's part of the way that our brains operate. Sometimes, creativity can be an effective stress buster and happiness maker and mindful mentor as well as having a result at the end. It's true, because creativity does have a way of weaving itself into what it is that you need. It does. It shows you the way. It is one of those things. And let me just tell you, when Diana Nyad was busy saying, find a way, don't you think she and her team were sitting down thinking, how do we get creative about this? How do we make this thing happen? Don't you think they did? Oh, I know they did. I know it with every part of my being. This is what separates the pros from the amateurs, right? Amateurs give up. Pros find their grit and never quit. And part of that, big dose of that, the plumb line running through the whole thing, is creativity. So there's aha moments that happen when we're engaged in something that we love or learning, and we connect the dots, we find the metaphors, we find the happy synchronicity. You want to know why? I'm going to give you some reasons why. Number one, and this is how creativity is allowed to bloom and flourish, okay? Bloom and flourish. Number one is that we are present. You remember what Bruce Lipton said? He said 95, he's the author, by the way, of The Biology of Belief. He said that 95% of us are living in the subconscious. In other words, we are creating over and over again the same thing, the same day, over and over again. It's Groundhog's Day on repeat. Most of us do that. And you know that you've done that when you've gotten in the car, driven somewhere and just said, oh man, this is so weird. I don't even remember driving here. You're so consumed with your thoughts. And our thoughts are mostly consumed with stuff in the past, wrongs done to us, reliving things. We are not in the present. The present is to live in the present, is to notice what's around you, is to be curious about the things around you, and is to become creative about either contributing, finding a solution for, or just pure enjoyment. That's what being present is all about. Number two, we connect. When we connect with our creative side, we also connect with others. There's a commonality there, right? There's also others who are doing the same thing that we are and trying to find their way and create it as well. And we find that there are other people that are going to say, oh, that was the coolest thing. Did you hear what Nancy had to say about that? Did you see Nancy's dream board, her vision board? Fabulous. Because it was fabulous. If you haven't seen it, it's on our Hot Melt Sprint page. All of this works together in the creative field, in the creative force, to not only give us inspiration, but also encourage us into a little perspiration to work for what it is that we want. Yeah, that's solutions right there. The other thing, the number three thing is, you know what else happens? Playfulness reappears, doesn't it? And if Nancy, am I right? I mean, wasn't that a playful attempt at putting that whole board together? Oh my goodness, of course. It is playful. It's fun. You have scissors. You're cutting things out and you glue and your mind's going blah, 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 like this. And it's fun. It's fun to put those kind of things together. Playfulness reappears with your creativity, which is, by the way, intent on looking for evidence and searching for ways in which to become solution-oriented. What? Did I tell you this was the fun part? This is the fun part. This is so much fun right here. The other thing is number 4 is new opportunities also appear. Now, Patsy can tell you all about that. Patsy and her little cross stitching and everything, and she absolutely created a business out of that. Some patterns and all of that. And it was only because of her daring enough to step into her most creative self and to not just create that little cross stitch thing, but to go beyond the lines. And I'm not talking about when she's making that cross stitch. You can't do that with cross stitch. But go beyond what it was about and say to somebody who was creating something, hey, I can do this for you. I can do that for you. And when we do these things, do you see what happens? Do you see what happens? New opportunities just come out of nowhere. Because had Patsy just sat there and just said, I'm just going to do my little cross stitch and nobody's ever going to know anything about that, there would be no new opportunity for her. But she made one simply because she dared beyond the creativity of what was on that cross stitch to go a little bit further. Whoop! Lynn, you did the same thing. Yeah, you get out of your way and you get out of the comfort zone. And you just say, what the heck? I mean, what are they going to say? No? Okay. I asked at least. This is how I started writing. I was, I'm going to tell you this story. I was reading a newspaper. I moved from Charlotte, North Carolina to a little town called Rutherfordton. It's right in the foothills of North Carolina. And it was just this itsy bitsy paper. Itsy bitsy paper. I looked forward to it and I kept saying, gosh, when I had the Charlotte Observer, every Wednesday, I looked forward to getting this fabulous food column and all this other kind of stuff. That didn't happen. Where's the food stuff? And it was once a month. So I wrote to the editor of this little paper, the Daily Courier is what it was. And I said, you need a food column. You need a food column. You don't have a food column. You should have one every week. This, that, and the other thing. And I went through all this stuff of what I thought they should be doing because, I'm such a smarty pants, right? And the guy said, well, if you think that's the case, then why don't you write one? I said, sure, I will. And we had a meeting. I started writing for them weekly. And I had the Manic Housewife column. It was a humor column that I wrote. It was critical. And all of a sudden I was like, man, I'm like really doing this. Because I spoke up and I was creative. And I said, not only do I see a thing that's missing, I see a creative piece that could be filled in by me who could do the creative stuff because I am writing a cookbook. Boom. And there it was. And it just one thing after the other. The opportunities continued to pile up and show up because of me opening my big mouth and being creative. What about you? Where's your creativity coming in and opening your mouth and saying things? And again, you don't have to cross stitch or cook to do this. You just have to say something. Opportunity is there to meet you when you dare to open your mouth and say, I can do that. I can do that. Yes, you can. Of course you can. Number 5, and give me a pinky up if you can believe this. Give me a pinky up if you have been here right here. Have you ever been in the place where you've noticed that because of the creative outlet that you have in your life and that you are creating all these opportunities, your creativity is from here with an arts and a craft, or painting or whatever, and it's going beyond, you found yourself being no longer depressed. Isn't that interesting? Well, I'm going to tell you, there's reasons for that. The creativity opens things up. Your body responds in kind. Your body sees opportunity and solution. It's exciting. It's exciting. It's fun. Isn't it true? It's so true. It is so true. These are the things that we do. Not only does it take down the stress a notch, but it also calms you. It calms the whole system down, and it gives you an opportunity to see things from a completely different perspective, right? You can just sit there and crochet and do whatever you want, but I will tell you what, your whole body's calming down as you do it. Number 6 is we give ourselves permission to do something new, to create, to invent, and we stop judging and start loving ourselves instead. And we love it. We get we're pretty proud of that. Look what I just did. I'm pretty proud of that. I made that myself. It's great. It's terrific. This morning, I made myself a little eggless or cheeseless omelet, and I had eggs in the pan because I was super hungry when I woke up this morning. I had lots of exercise yesterday, and I had more coming today. And so I set that thing up, and it was beautiful, and I tossed the whole deal, tossed the whole pan, and it was perfect. Dare I say it? No brown on that egg, just this yellow, glossy with a little butter on it. Then I folded it over, and I put a little green dragon on it. If you know, green dragon's amazing. And it was the most delicious thing ever. delicious. But that little creative moment, I gave myself a little pat on the back just for a stupid omelet, right? Number 7, the challenge and the newness spark joy because it's new and it's fun. It's new and it's fun. It's never, ever, ever going to be all about just getting to that finish line. It's all about the journey and what you learn about yourself, about others, about the craft that you're trying to do. It's all about that. I had a lesson day in pickleball with my partner, and we're trying to get better at some stuff at the net and trying to get better at service returns and things like that. And I remember thinking that the creativity of thinking of remembering where to place your shots, what to do, and how to do it. Pickleball's a lot like chess. There is strategy involved, and you have to think different ways, and you have to move in different ways and anticipate. And it's fun. And that is the secret and the juice and the secret sauce, really, of creativity. That's how it turns you on. Number 8 is we become stronger and our character develops because of it. Yes, ma'am, we become stronger. And this is especially true if we're finishers. Okay. Hi, Sherry and Jocelyn and Lynn. I didn't say hello to all of you and if I missed anybody, hello, I'm glad you're here. But I want to say this about being a finisher. We all can start a million different projects and have a million different things laying all around. But finishing something means that we care enough to follow through all the way to the end, to see the end, to take that lovely piece of needlepoint or needlework or handwork or whatever it is and frame it or finish it and stitch up the end pieces or whatever needs to be done. Having half done stuff takes your creativity and parks it. Finishing shows you what you're capable of. And you need that. That's evidence to support the fact that your creativity allows you to be a stronger version of yourself. How to finish. Number 9, it feeds your soul because you respond with deeper appreciation for beauty, for love, for empathy, don't you? The creativity wakes you up. It makes you see things with different eyes. It makes you appreciate the different colors. It makes you see things in color instead of just seeing things in black and white. It takes and puts moments in your day of joy. Allow for that, because that creativity, that however is coming out, however you are expressing it, also is going to spill out over onto the other things that you're doing in your life. We never want to use our creativity as an escape, like Netflix or, one of those things. We want to use our creativity as a spark for creating the endlessness of what possibilities are in our lives. Does that make sense? That's how I look at it. That's what creativity does. It makes you think of things. This is why I always sit when I'm doing my meditation, I always have my journal open with a pencil sitting there just in case something comes to me, because I noticed that when I'm in that state, that state of connecting brain and heart and just going deep within, things start to flow. The creativity starts to flow. I need a place to put it. Number 10, if you love the art, then you will love the doing, and then you can share the art and you can share the love. That's what creativity does. Nothing says I love you than something that is homemade and just for you. You all know the story of Jenny creating this beautiful cross stitch. I believe that's cross stitch that she did of Mark and I, a picture that she did of Mark and I that took her months and months and months. I mean, I've never been so moved in all my life. I've never seen anything so incredible and so beautiful. Finished too, by the way, finished. In a very prominent place right in my house. You will see it. It was counted cross stitch. Okay. I keep telling the story and I don't ever remember how it's made, but it's beautiful. But this is sharing the love, It's sharing the love, and it's saying, hey, I care about you, and here's some proof. Do you think I felt cared about at that point? What do you think Mark did? Mark was like, she made that for us? It is beautiful. It is beautiful. And I'd say this because this is the whole essence of what creativity does. It says, I care about you, and I'm passing that to you. It says to yourself, I care about myself, and not only can I be creative when I'm doing all this handwork or whatever it is that I'm doing, I can also use that creative brain of mine to figure these things out. Whatever is undone in your life, whatever needs fixing, whatever needs finishing, that same creative juice can be applied to that problem to become a solution. So this is the creative side of how we nudge change along, right? And I challenge you right now. I challenge you next time you're sitting with your creativeness, doing something creative, artsy, craftsy, or whatever, or even if you're not. But I challenge you with that to remember the same creative mind that is able to create this beauty of whatever it is able to create that same beauty in your life. That same woman who finishes things and frames them is also able to finish things that need to be finished in her life so that you can get to the next place. That same woman is also able to rely on her grit and stop quitting. Quitting doesn't work for anyone. It doesn't work for anyone, and I'll tell you, it makes you feel like garbage. So let's all step into our creativity. Let's all step into it and understand that that creativity is the thing that is going to drive us toward the goal and create the vibrant lives that we all want. Vibrancy is the whole result of having creativity in your life. Ta-da! I love this stuff so much. And tomorrow is Thursday. We're going to talk about the paradox of change because there is some paradoxes there that you need to be aware of, but that's okay because we have one another and we have another day so that we can get this stuff done. I'm going to say one more time, the spring sale is happening now till the end of the week. The smart, creative ones are going to jump on this and take advantage of it right now. I don't want you to be in the place of saying, oh man, I hate that I missed out. It's going to be a long time till you see another sale here. So get on it, savingdinner.com/spring. Any other announcements you can always find at savingdinner.com/announcements. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.